Hi, and welcome to Repro for the Culture for another episode of our doula series. My name is Sequoi Phipps-Hawkins. I'm our guest host today, and I'm joined by Miraj Bryan, who is a wonderful birth and color doula. Hi, Miraj.
Hi, Sequoi.
Thank you for coming. So glad you're here. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Miraj Bryan. I'm 30 years old. I am a full spectrum doula, birth and color doula. I have been douling since 2018. And birth and color is just right where I want to be. I love what the program is all about. I just moved from Lynchburg to Williamsburg, so I'm settling in, and I still get to be a part of this amazing nonprofit organization. And
That's great. Thanks. Well, I just want to talk to you a little bit about your experience as a doula.
Okay.
So could you share, you said you started doulaing in 2018.
Yes.
Could you share a little bit about where the inspiration came from for you to want to become a doula?
Okay, so after I had my first child, which was in 2014, I was just like really depressed,
Mm-hmm.
which now I know it's postpartum depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I was having like suicidal thoughts and things like that. And a friend had recommended I go to a local like collective for moms.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Motherhood Collective. And I never went like until like about 2 years later when I became pregnant with my second child. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need to like make sure I don't want to like off myself this time around, because I made it, but I don't know if I can make it again. So I started going to this, the Motherhood Collective, and I started learning all these things about birth, statistics, parenting, breastfeeding, and all that. And then people started mentioning like doulas, mm-hmm. and I learned more about midwives, and I was like, what's a doula? And I found out what a doula was in 2016. Like I had heard that word like maybe once or twice before, but didn't think twice about it. Mm-hmm. And then as I did like more research, and I started to find out more things about just the birth world in general, and then Black maternal mortality, I just really felt compelled to like be a part of like the change and just help other women like me, who, you know, sometimes our voices can go out unheard, our needs go unmet, and like doing like, at the time I was still in school, so I had access to like peer-reviewed journals and mm-hmm. articles, and I would like look at these statistics and like even like statements that like healthcare professionals like believe that weren't true, like Black skin being tougher or like things like that. And like these people are like, they're among us,
right?
Us, and they're still practicing and they believe these things. So I became a doula just to, one, I felt empowered by having like the knowledge that I do now, and then wanting to empower women, give back to the Black community. And like, you know, I think that the support that doulas offer and birth workers offer is like generational. Mm-hmm. It carries on. It's not like just you and that one client. It's like it changes a generation of people. So this work is just so empowering, and it's something I wanted to be a part of that was just like natural, and I just love it. I could talk about it for days.
I love it. I think that's something unique about doulas is you can tell when we really are passionate about it, because we just want to talk about what we do because we enjoy it so much. Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing all of that. Mm-hmm. So as doulas, we both know doula work can be taxing. It can take a lot of out of us. Our energy is needed. Mm-hmm. Our mind is needed. So what motivates you to keep going? Because you've been doing this for a little while now.
Well, I just feel like the work is not like done. I'm not satisfied with like stopping, mm-hmm. or I really haven't had a reason to stop. Mm-hmm. What helps me to keep going is like, I look at my children, I look at myself, and I look at the statistics, mm-hmm. and like birth is already this huge blessing. It's miraculous. And like, I just feel like the word still needs to be spread. Like, there are women like me, women of color, who in 2016, I didn't know what the word doula was. And there are still women today in 2022 who don't know what a doula is, what like resources they have or what rights they have or how to even advocate and find their own voice. Right. And like, I'm finding those things and I'm finding my voice just because I became a doula. And I have access to people who are knowledgeable, and just knowing like the resources I have as a woman, it's just like, I want every woman to have that. And it makes me want to keep going. I have a daughter. So like, I want her to have that too. And I feel like, advocacy is like a lifelong thing.
Absolutely. And your daughter is so precious.
Thank you.
That's so sweet. So can you share a little bit about some of the challenges that you have faced in doula work from anywhere? Where have the challenges come from and what are they?
Wow. Where to start with that? One, sometimes I can say like on a more personal level, like I can be my own challenge, like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like in any health care like field or anything, you're always learning. I won't ever know everything. So sometimes that's like intimidating. I always want to give people the best information, the most valuable information that they can use. So sometimes that kind of is a challenge for me to get over myself. Having small children, there's that work-life balance, and like, birth is so unexpected. And sometimes when you have little people and like certain responsibilities with them, like getting them to school and things, it's like figuring those things out, even with support. And then I think for me personally, that's become even more challenging since I moved, because like most of my support is gone. I had more of a community there. I have family, but close by, but it's not like the same type of support. So that can be challenging. I think I kind of feel a little hesitant to say it, but like in the birth world, dealing with like stereotypes, and sometimes it's hard to trust white people or trust OBs, because there's like people who really want to help and have good intentions, but sometimes hurt you in the process or other people, and they don't realize it. And then there's sometimes information is withheld or resources aren't like shared the same way. And it's not something I can put my finger on totally, but not feeling a part of like the group or the overall team. Like, and that can be challenging sometimes. I think now that I'm part of Birth in Color, that's not as huge of a challenge for me anymore, because I have people who look like me, who have the same experiences as I do, and we want to see each other win. Yeah. It's not a competition.
Right.
And it's like, not this kind of like savior complex thing. Like, let me help you. I'm going to help you this way, but anything else is like, that might be a little iffy.
Yeah.
The word discrimination gets put in there and it's like, it's not that deep.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that can be challenging sometimes. And I think I kind of covered most of I would say those three things.
Yeah. Those are very, very real challenges for doulas, and like the work-life balance thing, and then also the imposter syndrome thing. I think you touched on two things that we face so much. And I think, we talk about how every doula is different, but there are still we come up against the same hurdles. And so it's so great to be a part of a collective where we have kind of the sisterhood of people that we can be like, did you deal with this? How did you manage that? How did you jump this hurdle? Because I keep trying and I keep tripping. So,
or am I crazy?
Yeah. Or am I crazy? Did I make this up? So I'm really glad that you're willing to share all of that. So from your first experience supporting a birth to now, maybe your most recent birth or your couple most recent births, how do you feel like you have grown as a doula?
I definitely think I've grown in confidence. My first birth was actually like really traumatic.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny because it's like, sometimes when you like start something new and you're like pumped about it, especially if it's in your like career or like work, and then it just kind of like really humbles you and you're like, like, okay, I think that was the worst it could get.
Yeah.
So that person, like, I knew them and it was like, it was beautiful, but I learned like, listen to, you know, sometimes in the beginning, I kind of would like consider the mother and the father or both partners at the same time when I should be, I work for the birthing person. And I learned from that one, like, just how I need to be focused on the person who's birthing, and like their other support really doesn't matter. They're not giving birth to a baby. So that was one of the biggest things. I grew in confidence because I'm like, you know, now I can kind of know what to ask of a person, what things that make them feel comfortable, and just better with communicating and learning different techniques and things like that. And really just kind of sometimes like really accepting like, this person doesn't actually need me as much as I think they do. Like, and give them space to like birth, go through the process. And when they need me, or I just, it's one of these, it's an intuitive thing you kind of start to develop the more births you have. So yeah, the first one I was scared and it was scary. And as they go on, I kind of learn how to hold that space of peace and calm, and give as much evidence-based like information as possible.
Definitely.
And like just know when to step in when I need to, or you know.
That's so great. So great. So what have you learned that either, maybe let me frame it differently. What are some things maybe that you experienced or believed about birth before becoming a doula that now you think of differently, that either surprised you or you know, maybe would surprise somebody of like, you know, I didn't know this before and I know this now and my thought has shifted on this?
It's not as simple as we think.
Yeah.
Like, if you have like the lowest expectation of like what birth will be like, and that's just like kind of surrendering to, I'm not in control, like lower it even more.
Yeah.
Because you just never know like what's gonna happen.
Truly.
So I kind of forgot what the question was, where I was going with that.
Yeah, just like what you believed about birth before, what you believe now. But I think you are
like,
touching on that well.
Yeah, it's totally unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, and like knowing that you're always learning as well, and being humble enough. That's why I love that I have you guys. You know, if there's something that comes up and I don't know, like, I'm not confident in what to do, I have support. I can text another doula or Kenda or you, and someone will get me an answer that I need, or kind of be like, hey, you got this, you're doing the right thing. So yeah, birth is just unexpected things. You think like, there's not that much space in there. Like, maybe it will just come out.
Right.
There's so many things at play.
Yeah.
Like, the baby's literally floating above your pelvis. Like, who would have thought? Like, is there, how are they floating there?
Where is the space for floating?
Exactly.
I love that, the simplicity of that, like the level of expectation. I love to just remind clients, like, at the end of the day, the babies come out 100% of the time. Your baby's not going to stay in there. No matter how they come out, no matter how your birth goes, there's not a lot of options for the end goal. So, you know, you got to keep it real simple sometimes.
Yes. And then like, even like within birth, but not actually the act of birthing, but like breastfeeding, like, okay, that one kind of like threw me through a loop. Like, personally for myself, like, if the milk's just not there first, your body adjusts. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Like, we have like the ultimate design, like, of a body. Like, but things don't just show up the way you think they're gonna show up. They don't happen the way you think they are. And it can be like physically painful and emotionally draining, but like still so fulfilling at the same time. Yeah. Like, how? Right. And that's what's mind blowing about like birth to me.
Yeah. That's so good. Okay, so my final question for you is, what do you want people to know about community-based doula work? Whether it was a client who was like, I'm looking for a doula for the first time, or if it's just somebody who doesn't know what that word is yet and it's the first time they've heard it. What would you want them to know about not just being a doula, but being a community-based doula?
I think that what I would want people to know about a community-based doula is that we love what we do. We're not like off limits, like, and we want to serve women, or I speak for myself and say we want to serve. I just think that being a community-based doula is special. Just serving women around you. And it's like, whenever I talk to a birthing person or someone who's pregnant about like what their body's going to do, and they ask me questions and I feel like they trust me and it's mutual, it is like an immense responsibility to me, and I don't take it lightly. And like, it's also like, it gives me life. Like after I have like a prenatal or postpartum meeting, like I could be having like a day, and like after I get to be a part of this journey with a person and helping them like learn more about what their rights are, how to advocate for themselves, and just being, or even being an emotional support. Because sometimes like a prenatal meeting, we're not talking about babies, we're not talking about the body, we're talking about life.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just love what I do, and I love that part of what I do. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm even answering the question.
I think you are. I think you're answering it really well.
I think that community-based doulas are just passionate and servants, like in every like meaning of the word. And we want people to know about us. Like I want people to know that we're here. And that's one thing that is like, those things kind of take time, especially in like the climate of where reproduction rights are and like the birth world in general. So yeah.
That's a great answer. Well, not only is it an honor to know you, but it's a treat to interview you today. I think you're a phenomenal doula, and I'm so glad that we got to have you on the podcast today. So thank you all for joining Miraj and I today, and we hope you continue to tune in to our upcoming episodes about doulas.